back to another Beanie Brigade adventure. This is week 3 versus Clips. If you missed games 1 and 2, make sure to go check those out on my channel so you can see how we had a couple dominating wins to start the season. So dominant, in fact, that I had somebody comment and ask if this was a 6 foot and under league. And no, it's not. This is a legit league, but I do get your comment because our first couple of opponents were some of the easier matchups we'll have. But the same cannot be said about Clips, because like us, they were also undefeated entering week 3, and they have some real legit hoopers. We did some scouting prior to the game because this matchup was a bit personal for us, or at least specifically for me, because you see, Clips is the name of the barbershop that the team captain owns, and he compiled a strong squad of other barbers and their clients. One of the barbers being mine. Yes, I've been going to Clips in Fort Myers for a while now. My guy Ike is a savant behind the razor. If y'all in the area, go book a cut with him because he's a fantastic barber and also a great guy, as was everybody else on Clips. They were all really nice people, so I want to show them some love because in this matchup,
we were coming for blood.
Not only did my guy Ike bet me a free haircut if my squad won, but we also been talking trash back and forth for weeks. And it wasn't just me and Ike talking. We have some other friends on Clips that play at the park as well. Shout out to my guys Antonio and Jace. So we've all been talking for a few weeks leading up to this matchup because we knew that Beanie Brigade was a great squad, and they knew that Clips had some really talented hoopers too. So we were really hyped for this matchup. We knew it would be a measuring stick game for us, so we did some scouting. And upon our research, we learned that Clips had not one, but 2 current FGCU basketball coaches who had really impressive college basketball careers and played professionally overseas. One of them is named DJ, who I'm personally a fan of because he was also an assistant basketball coach for the University of Miami Hurricanes the year we went to the Final Four in 2023. And he's also just an absolute baller. I mean, the man has a strap and there was really nothing we could do to guard him. And the other coach Clips has is a 6'7" hooper named Dom. And I'm pretty sure they called him Dom because he was dominant inside. I'll tell you what though, it's a good thing he couldn't shoot, right? Oh, well, it was a good thing that was a fluke though, right? Well, it's a good thing that was just a coincidence though, right? God damn. Yeah, that man Dom was legit, and he was also pretty unstoppable. And then even outside of Dom and DJ, we knew that Clips had another lethal shooter, a man by the name of Kilkenny. So of course, because of that name alone, we wanted to shut him down because our team has Kenny on it. But we also saw Kilkenny torch his opponents in week 1 and week 2. He's absolutely automatic from downtown. So we knew that we couldn't let him get hot because he could easily drop 30 if you lose him on defense. And he was going to be my assignment. I was tasked with playing ball denial because I knew that if he caught the ball, he was going to be very hard to stop. As he said himself on his recruiting profile, I quote, "I'm very hard to guard." So my plan was to go all out on the defensive end, and let's just say I did a laughably good job, but we had to come out and punch them in the mouth because there's a lot of other good players on Clips too, and they're not an opponent that we want to mess around with. But now that you have the full context, let's get into the game where on our first possession, we're going to start with our signature ball movement leading to a 3 from who else but Mang, who right now on FanDuel, I'm pretty sure you can get at minus 2,500 to make the first basket. So we got the offensive start we needed. Now we just need to get a stop. And what the hell are we supposed to do about that?
I have an army.
We have a
Zach. And the nice layup by Zach, who, by the way, was going to be one of our most important players in this game because he is by far our best defender. I guess besides me for the first 5 minutes, because my game plan was to go all out with the full court press for just the first 5 minutes of the game so their shooter couldn't get into a rhythm and we could build up a solid lead. But my favorite part about this is how Ryan is dying laughing on the bench. Meanwhile, Lorenzo is getting really hype because like I told y'all, he's a dog on defense and loves a full court press. But my game plan was working. The shooter was frustrated. Our team defensive rotations were exquisite. I was so locked in. and on the next possession, I would get a steal and nail the transition 3. I was shaking my head. I was getting hype because like I told y'all earlier,
we were coming for blood.
So now the whole team was locked in, specifically Chad. He did a great job to steal the post-entry pass, and I'm just now noticing I'm still face guarding Kilkenny even though we're literally on offense. But then Chad's gonna come down the court, find Kenny wide open for 3, and he's gonna miss this one, but that's okay because Chad would dive on the floor for the loose ball, and then just a couple of passes later, Mang's gonna be wide open, and he's gonna miss that one too, but we would still retain possession. So Chad's over here getting steals and busting his ass for 0 points, so you know I couldn't let him down here. He's gonna find me on the inbounds pass, and I'm gonna travel, and we would not score on that possession. So Chad, I'm sorry, we're over there blowing your assist on one end and then feeding you to the Wolves on the other end as 0-1 Shaq is going to hit another jump hook. And then Zach can't get over the screen, understandably so. So Chad's going to get laid by 2016 Kyrie Irving. So Chad says,
Fine. I'll do it myself.
And then nails the transition 3. And then he's going to hit me with a nice entry pass over the top, and I'm going to get the jump hook to go. And then Kenny says, good morning, splash. Yeah, there will be a lot more of that later. And with that, we would force Clips to call the first timeout. The game plan was working perfectly. We were up by 10 just 5 minutes into the game, and I had to sit down because the full court press had me exhausted. But I am glad that I was able to give some enjoyment to Ryan and Lorenzo. But now we gotta build on the lead. Kenny to Ryan for the layup, and then Ryan's gonna outlet to Zach, who's gonna give it right back to Ryan for the layup, and 1. And of course, he would nail the free throw, and then Kenny would hit a layup in transition, and then Kenny would hit a corner 3, and then Mang would hit a 3 as the net was still stuck from when Kenny hit a 3, and then Kenny would hit another 3, and my goodness, somebody stop us. That would put us up 22 halfway through the first half. But then Clips would go on a little bit of a run. Kenny would hit Ryan with a full court dime who would smoke the layup, and that got Kenny mad. If you can read lips, he said,
I'll beat your ass if you do that again.
And then on the very next possession, Kenny hits Ryan with a beautiful touch pass, and he smokes the layup again. But luckily, the refs bailed him out this time. But then on the next possession, Kenny would do a nice job to split the double team and shows Ryan how to make a layup. And then Ryan would get Jade on by 2013 Ray Allen Game 6. I would follow with a nice left-hand jump hook. And then Clips would hit another 3 after Kenny says, I just want y'all to know the man he's talking about hit 3 triples this game. And at this point, we were just exhausted. We couldn't wait to get to halftime. And with just a minute to go, we're going to play some of the sloppiest basketball you'll ever see. Ryan's going to miss another layup. Zach's going to have a turnover. And then I'm going to back right into Chad and cough the ball up myself. But fortunately, we were able to overcome most of these mistakes. And then Zach and I would have a really nice give and go right before halftime to put us up 16. So it was a good first 20 minutes, but we knew we had to come out of halftime much stronger and put the nail in the coffin. And we did just that by taking advantage of a very bad zone defense. First, no one would box me out and I'd get the little putback. And then no one would rotate to me in the corner and I'd nail the open 3, which would be matched by 2013 Glenn Davis. But then Kenny would come right back and knife through the defense for a layup. And then the guy who Kenny said couldn't shoot would hit another triple, but then I would answer right away with a 3 of my own. And for every time Clips scored, we would match it, shutting the door on any kind of comeback. And at this point, we really started pouring it on as Kenny and Mang would add in a couple of more 3s on our next 2 possessions, followed by a few plays of great ball movement with Chad being both the recipient and facilitator. But Clips would respond as 2009 Brandon Roy would hit a huge 3 to cut the lead down to 25. You know things are going good when Zion's coming off the bench at timeouts and nailing threes. I'm hitting drop step left-handed jump hooks and doing 2 small celebrations. Ryan's getting his second and one of the day and making the free throw. Chad was still beasting inside as he was all game. He's going to get the putback. Now I'm going back for post position. Kenny looks me off as he's going for his highlight, which I respect because he drains it. But outside of Kenny, the rest of us were passing. Zach's going to find Ryan, who dumps it off to Chad inside. And then Ryan's going to hit me in the corner, and I bulleted to Zach for a layup. But the play of the day was this nutmeg pass from Chad. Oh my God. At this point, we were pretty much in garbage time, up by 30 with just 3.5 minutes to go. But we would tack on a couple of more layups just for good measure. I'd get one to go inside, and then Chad would find Zach. And then Kenny would find Ryan, who, you guessed it, smoked the layup. Oh boy.
What the hell, man?
But you know what? Shout out to Ryan. He wasn't out here trying to stat pad like the rest of us, as I would finally get a lucky bounce on a 3 to go in, and then Chad would hit a 3. Kenny would get an offhand layup, and then I would pull another transition 3 just to pat my stats a little bit. So in a measuring stick game for us, one that we not only wanted to come out and win, but dominate, we would come away with a 27-point victory by a score of 108-81. And somehow Zach, incidentally falling into the good camera, repositioned it so you could see the scoreboard, which was pretty clutch on his part. But this was a great win for the Beanie Brigade against a fantastic opponent. Shout out to everybody on Clips because they really made us work for this one. And for me personally, it's the first game this season that I felt a sense of pride after winning because that was a very talented opponent.
Got Chad's family in the spot. Kenny with the dunk. Hey!
And in my last video, I told y'all to subscribe so you can follow the Beanie Brigade's journey since the Miami Heat wouldn't be getting Giannis. And then they ended up getting Giannis. And now I'm well over 10,000 subs, which is awesome. But make sure you still subscribe so you can follow us for the rest of our men's league season. There's 5 more regular season games plus the playoffs, and I'll be sure to cover all of them.